And who will be the champion rugby league side in the world? Will it be Manly or will it be Wigan? Hello in Australia from David Fordham at Central Park in Wigan for this eagerly awaited clash to determine the World Club Champions between Manly Warringah, the Sydney Premiers, and the side that laid it all before them in Britain last year, the Wigan side. Of course, this famous Central Park, again, the atmosphere is electric again. It reminds me very much when I was here just 12 months ago for the start of the Kangaroo Tour, when the Australians met some formidable opposition from this side from Central Park. 26 points to 18 in one of the toughest encounters on that undefeated run through England and France. They call the Wigan side the entertainers. They've got great and loyal support, and their supporters rate this side as the best for many years to grace Central Park.
I think it's one of the best teams they've ever had at Central Park. Although in the past years we've had some good teams, but I think at the present time I rate it. Well, I think they've proved themselves over the last couple of seasons as one of the best in the world.
Brilliant. Out of this world. Best team I've ever seen at Wigan. And they're going to win.
Fantastic. Great.
Who's your star player?
Well, we've a load, haven't we? We've a full team of them.
Well, don't they love their rugby league at Central Park? And I can assure you they are really looking forward to this clash tonight between Wigan and Manly. The sad news for the Manly team and for the fans here at Central Park is that big Noel Cleal has been forced out of the side with the injury that he sustained to his ribs in the grand final at the Sydney Cricket Ground just a week or so ago. But now let's look at the Manly lineup for this vital one tonight. Fullback is Dale Shearer, the three quarters of Ronson, Williams, O'Connor and Davis. Lyons and Hasler the halves. Cunningham will play at lock forward in number 14. Paul Vaughton, the captain, moves to second row to partner Ron Gibbs. And the front row of Gately, Cochrane and Phil Daly. The Manly side, of course, is coached by Bob Fulton. Well, Bobby, how are the boys looking forward to this one?
Well, they're obviously looking forward to it, Dave, because it's such an important match, and obviously the outcome will determine who's the best club side in the world.
After the grand final triumph just a week or so ago at the SCG, has it been hard to lift the boys?
No, it hasn't actually. We've had a couple of relaxing days early on last week, but you have had some fine days over here to train, and we've had dry pitches, and it looks pretty good.
You've had a couple of injury problems. Is that a worry?
Well, yes, it is when you look at the likes of Kevin Ward being out of the side and also Noel Cleal, but when you look at the likes of the guys that have come into the side, in Young and Gately and Owen Cunningham, they'll do a tremendous job. They've done it for us in the past this year.
So a pretty confident Bobby Fulton, but they're up against a great side tonight at Wigan. Let's look how they line up. They've also had some injury problems. Their team is Hampson, Russell, Stevenson, Lydon, Gill, Edwards and Gregory the halves. Remembering the international numbering, Ellery Hanley, the captain, will play at number 13 and at lock forward. The second row of Potter and Goodway, the front row of Wayne, Kiss and Brian Case. Of course, their side is coached by the former New Zealand national coach, Graham Lowe, enjoying his second year here at Central Park. Well, Graham, a marvellous season last year and off to another great start this year. How seriously are Wigan treating this one?
We want to be world champions. That's how serious we are. You know, it's a great occasion, but we're going to be desperate to win it.
You're up against a great side, though.
We certainly are. I think, you know, the two best sides in the world are going to be out there today, and, well, the best side will win.
Joey Lydon, of course, is back. Has he given you much insight into this Manly side?
Side are about to come out onto this famous Central Park at Wigan. Back in 1959, a crowd of 47,000 people set the record against St Helens. Just wait for the great reaction to the Sydney champion, but the noise will greet them on the pitch. Here he comes, leading the Wigan team out. And listen to the crowd. At the northern end of the ground, the Manly team bunch in anticipation of the kickoff. Ellery Hanley very slowly leads the Wigan team out. Finally, two or three of them break away, and now the sprints across the ground as they throw the ball around in warm-up. Fantastic atmosphere. The crowd here at Central Park absolutely love their football. They've been waiting for this one. I know the interest is high back in Sydney and right around Australia, but let me assure you, the fans at Wigan, Andy Gregory with a short kick-off, and they nearly caught Manly napping on that short side. And look at that defence, so they're up in numbers. But a penalty. And the crowd don't like that. The man that was swamped was the centre three-quarter, Darryl Williams. And up comes Dale Shearer to look for touch on the popular side of Central Park. He'll take the kick from about 14, 15 metres inside his own end of the ground. And he'll be driving it up towards the halfway line. In fact, he takes it about 8 metres beyond the halfway line. Mal Cochrane will be the man to get it underway. And Gately hits it first up. He's broken the line and takes play inside the 22. So Manly on the attack in the opening moments. Cochrane now. Phil Daly. Didn't play here in the opening match of the Kangaroo Tour, but he gets a warm welcome to Central Park. Swarming defence by the Riversiders. Now Des Hasler out to Cliffy Lyons. Held the ball up beautifully for O'Connor. Well, on the first game here last year, he touched the ball for the first time and scored a try. No such luck in 87. Another penalty. Players well offside, and John Holsworth obviously is going to clamp down on that, Graham Eady, but a little bit of a flare-up with Ronnie Gibbs as well.
Well, they've got, that's the only way Wigan can really beat Manly, I think, tonight, David, is to move up very quick and bustle them, and that's what they're doing in this early minute, putting a little bit of niggle in, and Manly just have to take it in their stride and keep playing football.
Well, Max, you're wearing the Manly blazer down there, just inside the touchline in front of all these Wigan supporters. What sort of reaction have you got down there in the opening minutes?
Well, it's certainly quite exciting already, David. The pressure's certainly on, and certainly it's on the referee as well, and he's come up with 2 penalties already to Manly.
Well, can Michael O'Connor convert it into points? In 1987 in Sydney, he scored 101 points for the Sea Eagles, 10 tries and 31 goals. The leading point scorer on the Kangaroo Tour. Can he give Manly the early start here? About 5 metres to the left of the uprights. The crowd trying to put him off. He's a seasoned campaigner, though. And he answers the pressure with the first 2 points, and Manly hit the lead in the opening minutes of this match. They lead by 2 points to 0. An early break in a big game like this, and that'll really settle the boys down after the jet lag and the big trip over from Australia.
It will, David. They've started off very well, especially young Ian Gately. If he keeps running like that, Wigan will have a heavy night.
Dale Shearer fields the ball about 3 metres out from his own line, runs it across field. Finally taken by Edwards in the tackle. Over the top came Ellery Hanley. So he's taken about 12 metres out from his own goal line. Mel Cochrane, they'll be keen to get it away from this danger area. Fatty Borton spotted the gap. Poor defence by Wigan. Support tried to find Lyons on the inside, but that was a good tackle by Hampson. Cochrane now from dummy half. They move at the open side again through Hasler and Lyons. Held it up for Gately. He's got great ball skills. A bad pass, though. Nicky Kiss comes up with it for Wigan. So Brian Case, one of the veterans in the side, for Edwards. Out to Andy Gregory. Spinning it out wide. Hampson hits the line, but beautifully picked off that time by Fatty Borton. Joe Lydon. Potter. Driven to the ground by some strong Manly defence. Headed by Gibbs, and the penalty, the first for Wigan, goes against Ronnie Gibbs. Well, Max, I can tell you he'll be out for a big one tonight. His final appearance in Manly colours before heading up north next year. How's his preparation been? I know it's his first trip overseas.
It's certainly been very good, mate. He's fired up tonight, and he's going to get stuck right into it. He's fired right up for a big game.
So, 2 points to 0. Manly in the lead. Well, they've got a series of very talented goal kickers in this side. We look through, Joe Lydon is about the third string kicker. We've got Ellery Hanley also that kicks goals, and Stevenson as well. He'll assume the goal-kicking responsibilities first up, and a very talented man, Graham Eady.
He is. He's been kicking very well too at the start of this season, and to keep players like Ellery Hanley and Joe Lydon not kicking, he must be going well.
Well, Stevenson's averaged 6 goals a match so far, 36 goals in season 1987, a season just 6 matches old in the Premiership, and a chance now to level the scores. David Stevenson, the ball placed about 11 metres in Manly's end of the ground, centre field. I think the crowd will tell the story of this success. He's hit it very well. This ball game is all tied up with 5 minutes gone in the first half. Manly 2, Wigan 2. Well, Max, we mentioned to Graham the importance of the early start, but it's also important to come back as Wigan have done. There's the kickoff, taken by Gregory. Back for Lydon. There's that big punt downfield. It'll fall wide of Dale Shearer. All the Wigan players offside. It's picked up by goal. It's a bad mistake by Cliff Lyons. I thought he had knocked it forward. Well, Graham, you're a little bit more conversant with these referee signals here in England. Can you work that one out?
Well, he said that Cliff Lyons had knocked on then. he's got the whistle.
Well, scrum feed to Wigan and a penalty. A little bit of back chat from the Manly players. I know, Max, when you captained the Kangaroos in '82, interpretation of referee's decision has always been a contentious point, and that's something that Paul Borton will have to come to grips with leading this Manly team.
Oh, mate, you've just got to learn to put up with it. It's a situation where the referee is always right in whatever sphere of football or any sport you're playing, and it's something you've just got to come to grips with and just don't give away the penalties.
Well, there's the kick-taking play about 5 metres short of the 22. The tap restart from Nicky Kiss. He takes it up to the 22 before he's taken by Phil Daly and also by Paul Borton. Charging upfield. Cochrane over the top. Nicky Kiss. Open side. Turning it back. Gregory. Long pass. Stevenson. Hampson in the line. Beautiful play. Oh, but he's lost the ball. He's one of the great attacking players in English football, is Steve Hampson. But here's the counter-attack from Manly Warringah. The referee's whistle's gone again. Again, the temper's fair. I think a few people asked the question how seriously these two sides would be taking this game. I think it's already been answered.
Yes, I think the attitudes of both sides are out there to win and win well.
So Ellery Henley comes down to settle his players down. Penalty going to Manly Warringah, Dale Shearer to look for touch on the far side. Scoreline 2 points apiece. The battle tonight to determine the best rugby league club in the world. There's Phil Daly. Oh, lifted up and driven to the ground. Watch for Gately. Well, they realise that he stood them up so easily in that opening minute. Hasler, now Ronnie Gibbs. First touch and attack. Oh, taken high was Cliff Lyons. Popped the pass up beautifully. Cochrane. And he takes play to the 22. Manly on the attack. Hasler cuts out Lyons and gave it to Vorton. Through the dummy to Cunningham, and Vorton takes the tackle. Cochrane from dummy half. They'll have to watch him there. One of the real great attacking players from that role. Vorton now for Hasler to Cliff Lyons. The little kick put up. Pressure on the fullback Hampson. Oh, and he took it beautifully. Took it beautifully under pressure. And Ronnie Gibbs came in for his chop as well. Well, here's this great counter-attack by Wigan. Henderson Gill, one of the crowd pleasers at Central Park. You watch this take, Graham Eadie, of Hampson. That was something that really is a sign of a great champion.
It was. He took that very well. You know, the pressure was there, and he never shirked it at all.
So Wigan. Again, some solid defence by Manly Warringah. Owen Cunningham was the man. Lydon. That's a clever kick. Well, he knows every blade of grass at Central Park. Came across some Widnes last year for £100,000. He's already repaid a lot of that. Scored some fabulous tries for Eastern Suburbs in Sydney this year, and scored a gem of a try against Australia in the Test Series on the Kangaroo Tour. So John Holsworth has had plenty to do. The referee in the opening 9 or 10 minutes of this match, where we see that scores all tied up, and a penalty again goes against Wigan. Brian Case was the man spoken to. Mel Cochrane also querying the referee's decision as well. The interpretation is something, as Max Krilich mentioned, they'll have to come to grips with, as Shearer looks for touch on the members' grandstand side of the ground. So Michael O'Connor with the tap, restart. Cliff Lyons, Hasler, Cunningham. Superb debut earlier this year for the young 21-year-old player against Canterbury. This is a player that's going to be a player of the future for Manly Warringah, Ian Gately. Mark my words. Hasler out to Cliff Lyons. Good movement to the ball by Manly. Dummy by Vorton. O'Connor overran him, but Vorton, the captain, takes it inside the 22. Tackle that time by Potter and also by Edwards. Manly looking sharp in attack. Gibbs has lost it. And it's picked up by Brian Case on his own 22-yard line. 11 minutes gone in this first half.
Wigan player down injured. Oh, that's a beautiful pass from Wayne. Out to Russell on the right wing. But the cover defence of Manly Warringah's there through through Daly. Gregory to Edwards. Good play that time by Andy Goodway. Took the tackle centre field, Edwards. He's got a great ton of pace. There's the kick over the top. That's turned the Manly defence around. Dale Shearer fields it inside the quarter line. Supporter Stuart Davis on the outside. He elects to run on his own. Got around Wayne, but can't get around Potter. There's Hasler. I can tell you how important rugby league is in his life. Got married on Friday, Graham, and here he is playing in a match just a few days later.
Yes, well, he brought his wife over with him, David. I suppose he couldn't get rid of her.
Paul Wharton, again, for the third time, splits them up the middle. Paul Wharton playing in his first match in England, despite having played 6 test matches in his career after he made his debut in '82. There's a loose ball. First touch for Stuart Davis. He's been around Brookvale Oval for a long, long time, but really only has emerged in the last couple of years. There's the kick from Shearer. Oh, beautifully taken by Goodway. The crowd really warmed to that. Cliff Lyons runs him down centre field. Hampson. Over the top came Gately. Well, Cliffy Lyons, agitated, penalty goes against Manly Warringah. Counts down there, Max.
Well, he does. Ronnie Gibson, Owen Cunningham are really getting stuck into these Wigan boys, and they'll feel all the punishment here tonight.
There's Hanley, beautifully tackled by Cunningham. There's Lydon, turning them around again with the kick. Fielded by Stuart Davis. Runs to Stevenson, beat him. But Russell comes in to help effect the tackle. O'Connor. Weaving run, taken by Case in the tackle, and Nicky Kiss. Cochrane, Gibbs. Gately was tackled on suspicion by Nicky Kiss. 2-2 the scoreline. 16 minutes of play gone in this first half. Hasler, Lyons, spun out of one tackle. Hasler, Phil Daly. Oh, he made a great recovery, Phil Daly, from a standing start. He was swamped in defence by Potter. Hasler, little kick and chase, taken out of the play, and the referee has picked it immediately. A shoulder charge on the little Manly halfback. We'll see it come up again. And the referee, in fact, quite correct in his decision.
Yeah, that was definite, Dave, wasn't it? There was 2 players there, and they never even tried to get out of his way then.
Well, it's given a chance for Michael O'Connor to add another 2 points for Manly Warringah to put them to a 4 points to 2 lead in this first half. A half that's 17 minutes has elapsed, and the crowd, haven't they enjoyed it? They have turned out in their numbers tonight. Michael O'Connor with the ball placed. The kick is about 25 metres out. It's directly in front of the post. His first attempt, he struck it in typical O'Connor fashion. O'Connor's kick. Oh, it's a shocker, and he's missed it. Well, how uncharacteristic is that for Michael O'Connor? So 2-2 the scoreline. That's Stevenson. Gregory. Case. Takes place short of the 22. Again, Holsworth looking this time at the Manly defence, getting them back the required 5 metres as Lydon drives the play down over halfway. One of the rare touches for David Ronson so far. Oh, great play by Ronson. Tremendous counter-attack by Manly Warringah, and brings play back inside Wigan's end of the ground. That's Cochrane and Hasler. Captain Paul Wharton. He's had a strong first half. Put Cunningham through the gap, but he's run down by Hanley. And he's stolen the ball.
Well, that's one of his great strengths. He really is a strong player.
It is, David, and the referees let you get away with a bit of that over here. I think Manly will have to watch that tonight.
Andy Gregory, the man that goes to dummy half. Wigan's chance now to attack. Pace. Nicky Kiss taken high by Daly and driven to the ground on the halfway line. Penalty. I think the ruling dropping the knees in the tackle. The offenders for the two prop forwards, Phil Daly and Ian Gately. And the man down injured is the hooker Nicky Kiss. Max, I noticed when O'Connor was attempting that conversion, the penalty attempt. Well, that's a bad mistake from both teams. Terry Randall was the man that came out as the Manly runner. It's great to see him looking so fit and still involved with this Manly club. Yeah. So the scrum packs down. Stevenson has received a bit of attention on the touchline. The scrum is camped inside. Manly's 22. Scrum feed by Gregory. Wrestle by Des Hasler to the ground. Joe Lydon runs from dummy half. Stepping run by the centre three-quarter. Was originally chosen in the wing position. Dean Bell was the man that pulled out. Here's a penalty. And I think Cliff Lyons has been the man called out. Was it knees again, Graham Eadie? He's been given...
I don't think so, David. I think he just went in with a heavy tackle, and if there was anything, it might have been just a swinging arm.
Well, Cliffy Lyons has been given 10 minutes in the sin bin. Similar reaction when Gary Jack was sent from the field here for 10 minutes in the match in the opening tour match last year. They gave Jimmy Jack a nice send-off, but so Manly playing with a man short. Let's have a look at it again. Oh, a little bit of a shove, nothing in that at all. Absolutely nothing in it.
No, there's been worse incidents, I think, earlier on.
But it's given Wigan a chance to hit the lead for the first time in this first half. The scores are locked at 2-2 at the moment. We're at the halfway mark of this first 40 minutes. David Stevenson, about 18 metres out, just to the right-hand side of the right-hand upright. Struck it beautifully. Oh, he's missed it. Well, from here I thought he'd put it inside that right-hand upright. So O'Connor and Stevenson both failing with their second attempts. 2-2 the scoreline. So, the dropout. Deep downfield to the safe hands of Steve Hampson. They're freely tipping him, Graham, to be the man that will wear the #1 jersey for Great Britain down under next year.
Well, he's been playing very well this year, and all last year he was the #1 fullback over here.
Henderson Gill coming in from that left wing looking for work. The Wigan backline, as I was saying earlier, has been reshuffled with the loss of Dean Bell. Here's Hanley. Gregory cut out Lydon and gave it to Stevenson. Again, some good defence by Cunningham. The ball's gone loose. It's picked up by Nicky Kiss. Now Sean Edwards. Beautiful tackle from Ron Gibbs. Hanley. Daly and Gibbs affecting the tackle. He's the danger man in this Wigan side. He's been closely checked so far in the first half. There's the kick from Edwards. Picked up Ellery Hanley. And Manly's defence stretched to the limit. There's a fight in back play. The referee says play will go on, but finally he blows the whistle. It's broken out in about 3 or 4 places, and I suppose Wigan are really irate at that. They're in a great scoring opportunity when the whistle went.
They were, Dave. Ellery Hanley was going very well then, but you know, I was watching the ball. I missed the incident.
Well, I was watching Ellery Hanley myself, but the referee has called a few players out here. It erupted in about 3 or 4 different parts of the ground. Now, someone from Manly is being called out. Let's have a look at it again.
I think it's from the little chip.
Well, watch it here. This is where it came up. Yes, it happened back in back play from there. We were following that action.
But once again, it's given David Stevenson a chance to put Wigan in the lead. They trail by 2-0 after just a minute. Wigan replied, square it up after 5. 18 more minutes have gone without any further addition to the scoreline. But this big crowd at Central Park have been on the edge of their seats. Well, it appears that young Cunningham is coming off for attention. Max, what seems to be the problem down there?
Yes, I think he's got a bit of a knock around the head here, David. He doesn't look too well. He's got, looks like a few stitches will be needed in the night cup there, mate.
Okay. Well, we're waiting now for Stevenson. On the 22-yard line, or just beyond it, has the ball placed. This time the flags go up and Wigan hit the lead. For the first time they lead by 4 points to 2. With the tap, set move by Manly. Borton takes it on his own. Paul Shaw is out there at the moment for the Manly side. It's a great moment for him. There's Cochrane, scurries from dummy half. Popped it up beautifully for Dale Shearer. And he's been ruled to have held it up over the line. Well, Mel Cochrane split them open wide. Shearer was the man that backed it up. But the referee seemed to be well positioned, Graham.
He was very well positioned, and it was a very good run from Mel Cochrane. He saw the gap and went straight through. Good backing up by Dale Shearer. Unfortunately, he just couldn't get the ball down.
Well, with the reshuffle, Des Hasler goes into lock forward. Shaw there in 17. Will work the scrum for Manly Warringah. Another scrum to pack down. It's only about 8 metres out from the Wigan line, virtually under their posts. Scrum feed for Andy Gregory. Wigan backs up flat. Hanley from the back of the scrum. Well, the referee's detected a little knock on. Another scrum to go down. This time, of course, the feed to Manly Warringah, and that could prove costly. Very untidy scrummaging from both sides. There's one against the feed. Edwards taken in the tackle. Hilary Hanley, oh, that's a great tackle from Michael O'Connor. Stevenson, running square on the 22-yard line, takes the play to the centre of the ground. Edwards, good way, flicked the pass out the back door for Edwards. Great pace by Edwards. Joe Linen. But Shaw with a superb tackle. Now Wigan look dangerous on attack. Ellery Hanley, Hampson in the line. Stevenson turned it back beautifully for Hampson. Oh, and Paul Horton thumps him to the ground. Final tackle. Gregory angling the kick. But it goes dead in goal. Play to come back to the quarter line. But it goes to show Maxi Krilic you cannot afford to let this Wigan side run with space.
Well, David, they're certainly a very exciting football team. They won't play it up the middle. They want to throw the ball around, and they're playing exciting football down here.
11 minutes to half-time. 4 points to 2. Wigan in the lead. So the tap restart from Cochrane. Gately. I don't think they'll allow him the freedom they allowed him in the opening minute of this match when he tore them apart up the middle. Gibbs. 10 metres out from their own quarter. Manly in possession of the ball. No tries so far in this match. Shaw. Gately. Williams. Tried to bump through Lydon. Coming across in cover was Potter in 12. Now Shaw. Gately. Well, time must be nearly up for Cliff Lyons from that stint in the sin bin. He's on the touchline about to re-enter the fray.
Paul Vorton wrestled to the tackle by Sean Wayne. There's Shearer turning Wigan around again. Oh, nicely fielded by Hampson for Russell. Tried to go around Hasler. He did. But he can't beat Mel Cochran. Edwards with the switch of play. Hampson took the tackle. Stevenson seems to always want to run square, Graham. He very rarely takes the ball to the advantage line.
No, he does that in club games too. He uses his halfbacks very well.
Gregory. Well, a lot of the pattern of play revolves around these two playmakers in Edwards and Gregory. It's a nice little trio, isn't it? Edwards and Gregory, and also that man in number 13, Ellery Hanley, at the back of the scrum.
So a lot of their play does hang around or work around those three.
So the scrum feed only about 5 metres inside Wigan's end of the ground, but the scrum won't, in fact, take effect because the penalty goes to Manly Warringah. And again, the temper's still rather tested and strained out there. Nicky Kiss is the man that gets the chat from referee John Holsworth. So Dale Shearer looks for touch. And that's a good kick-taking play inside the 22. Watch for Gately from the tap restart. There's Ronson. Hasler. Well, the player was taken a, what do they call it? The obstruction, as they call it over here. It looked all right to me. We'll see it on replay. It's something they really crack down on over here, Graham.
They do, even if there's a slight...
Yeah, Ronnie Gibbs was there. Good decision by the referee, John Holsworth. So play on the halfway line. Another penalty, Lydon to kick for touch. Now a chance for Wigan, with 8 minutes of play remaining in this first half, to launch an attack. Nicky Kiss to his feet. Goodway held it up for Hanley. The switch of play with Lydon. Hitting the line is Hampson. That should be a penalty. It would be back home. Edwards. Brian Case. Good ball skills for Nicky Kiss. So Wigan inside the 22 and on attack. Ian Potter, the man that assumes the dummy half role. Gregory, Edwards, Gregory. Goodway. He's had a strong first half, both in attack and defence. Hanley. Andy Gregory. Switch of play for Stevenson. And the kick will find touch. So that's keeping the pressure on. Well, Max, do you think the Manly Warringah side would be a little bit worried at the moment with the scoreline so close to half-time?
I would say so. Well, I think Andy Goodway and Brian Case are going very well for the Wigan side. They're really taking up to the players, and they're both having excellent games, David.
Well, I couldn't agree more. Andy Goodway, as I mentioned earlier, probably has a little point to prove against this Manly Warringah side. Oh, there's one against the feed. Gregory just short of the line. Fatty Vorton came out very quickly. Russell, this is where we really can see the strength of Ellery Hanley. They'll try and play to him here. Edwards, Stevenson, stepping run. Edwards, off the foot as the referee signals. He's also got Manly back the 5. Potter and Case. Kept the ball alive beautifully for Potter. Back now for Wayne. He's lost it. And it's dived on by Ronnie Gibbs. Well, I'm sure the Manly side would have breathed a sigh of relief there when Gibbs fielded that ball for Manly Warringah.
Well, he was mixed up in about 3 incidents there, Ron Gibbs, and I think they can be a bit thankful that he was on the field then.
Well, half-time has been signalled. It showed another 5 minutes still remaining on the clock here at Central Park. But the scoreline at half-time,
there's a bit of confusion. The players are still remaining. The touch judge says we've still got time to go. He's going to call the timekeeper out, I think. Here, give him a caution, Graham.
Well, it's a strange thing to happen in a game of rugby league, isn't it? The 5 minutes short.
Well, the crowd are chanting. I think they want 5 more minutes of action. Those are here at Central Park. And a scrum win to Manly Warringah. Dale Shearer. Paul Shaw runs from dummy half. Ton of pace, this youngster. Centre of the ground, midway between the half and the 22, are Manly in possession. Gately, bumping run, taken well in the tackle by Sean Wayne. Hasler again darting from dummy half. That's where Manly think they can see the gaps. Good strong play by the prop forward Daly to take play beyond the halfway line. Cochrane, Shaw, Cliff Lyons back on the field. Head down, taken over the top by Case. Quick play the ball, and Wigan have come up with it, or have they? Ronnie Gibbs says it's a Manly ball. Holsworth comes in for a closer look. Manly come up with it. Dale Shearer. Solid defence by Hanley. Hasler. Shaw. You wouldn't have seen much of this youngster, Graham, but I can assure he's really made an impact in Sydney this year.
Martin Meredith's been singing his praises ever since he's been over.
Here's a great break by Williams. Pass back in field for Gibbs. It's been left behind. And the referee will rule the knock on. 4 points to 2. This battle today at Central Park to decide the best club side in the world, the Sydney Premiers, against the team from England, Wigan, who last year, an impressive record. The Lancashire Cup, the John Player Trophy, the League Championship and the Premiership Trophy. The only one that eluded them, Graham, was the one that you savoured, that Wembley Cup triumph back on May 2.
Well, I was glad to have that instead of them.
Scrum win to Manly. Michael O'Connor, he's had a quiet first half. Shearer, back for O'Connor. Now for Lyons. Good support by Manly Warringah. The ball's kept alive, but taken by Lydon. Here's the Wigan counter-attack. Stevenson. Well, Stevenson reacted to the tackle by Williams. So did the crowd. And I think finally, with 38 minutes of play gone in the first half, the hoot has sounded again. So the players for the second time attempt to leave the field for the half-time break. It gives us a chance to take a break with the scoreline. Wigan 4, Manly Warringah 2. We'll be back with the action of the second half in just a moment. Manly Warringah, the Sydney Premiers, and this great side from England, the Wigan Riversiders, 4 points to 2. The locals lead this encounter. No tries in the first half. And Graham Eady, I suppose that really is a surprising aspect of the first 40 minutes. We've got 2 of the best attacking sides in the world, and yet the defence really hasn't been broken.
It hasn't, Dave, no. There's been a lot of balls spun wide, and the defence has held tight.
Well, there's the kick-off for the second 40 minutes. What lies ahead of us? If it's anything like the action of the first half, you're in for a treat. Henderson Gill takes the first tackle of the second half. No changes to either side, although we see Ellery Henley out there playing without a number. Ronnie Gibbs, good solid defence again. Wigan camped inside their own 22. Sean Wayne charging upfield, met by Cunningham. Also by Phil Daly. Mel Cochrane it was, in 12. Nicky Kisser, dummy half. Takes on his opposing hooker Cochrane. Gately comes in as well. Watch for Joe Lydon. We'll see the clearing kick from inside the quarter line. Well, good. That's good pressure by Gibbs, but Lydon evades the tackle. But it did put his kick under pressure. Oh, Lydon fielded it beautifully. Good wave. Sean Edwards. Superb play by Wigan. Edwards, oh, what a great counter-attack by Wigan. And Joe Lydon was the man that sparked it. And a penalty. Superb play by Joe Lydon. He is capable of anything on the day. And once again, he showed his great class.
Was very, very fast then, David, wasn't he? He was put under pressure by Ronnie Gibbs very well. Got the kick, which turned out not to be a very good kick at all. But then he made it into a great kick by chasing through.
Edwards was the man that really took the attack to Wigan, but finally their cover defence of Manly was there and wrapped him up in the tackle. But a chance for Stevenson. So far, he's kicked 2 goals from 3 attempts. Has the ball placed 18 metres out, 15 metres to the right of the uprights. What a vital kick this one is for Wigan. Well, the flags go up. Wigan go to a 4-point lead. They lead by 6 points to 2 early in this second half. Well, a penalty. Des Hasler was trying to get the quick restart. He takes the tap. Cliff Lyons and Manly counter-attack. Stuart Davis tried to stand Stevenson up on that far side. Cunningham. Good defence by Joe Lydon. Cochrane, Hasler, cut out Gibbs and Borton offside. Well, they really can't afford these errors.
No, the errors are starting to come into the game, and that was a bit uncharacteristic of Fatty. You know, he didn't have a lot of pressure on him then.
So the scrum feed with the Wigan put in by Gregory. Manly screw the scrum. Hanley comes off the back. Hasler and Gibbs for the man that wrapped him up. There's Potter. Wrestled to the ground and halfway by Phil Daly. But Wigan have come out with all guns blazing in the second half. Beautiful step from Edwards. It'll take a lot of skill by the Manly side to really settle their composure. They've had their backs to the wall in the opening 3 or 4 minutes of the second half. Andy Gregory, Edwards, through the dummy. Gee, he's got some pace. But he ran into a brick wall of Ronnie Gibbs and also Paul Borton. Lydon, attempted drop goal, taken out by Gibbs. The touch judge in. Well, I would like to see it again in replay, Graham Eady, because Gibbs I felt was committed. He didn't miss him, I can assure you of that. Were you watching back play?
I didn't really see it. I saw Ronnie Gibbs going through, but then was watching the flight of the ball.
Well, Joe Lydon has been absolutely flattened. Let's watch it again. It came from this play, the ball. There's Gibbs. And I think he's been sent from the field for using the elbow. Ronnie Gibbs, I didn't see whether he got minutes in the sin bin or whether he's been sent from the field. I think he's been sent from the field in his very last appearance for Manly Warringah, and if that is the case, what a cruel blow to a man that has served them so well over the last year or so.
Yeah, well, I didn't think I saw an elbow in that instant at all. You know, he was committed to the tackle, and you know, he just went in.
Well, we'll get a confirmation of that in a moment. I was watching Joe Lydon at the time. Did you see whether he actually gave him minutes in the bin or?
No, I didn't. No.
So another chance for Stevenson to add more points for Wigan. What a sensational start. Here it comes again. Lydon with the attempted drop goal. Well, nothing is conclusive there. It was slightly late. I couldn't see whether he in fact used the elbow. But Stevenson with a chance from around about 44, 45 metres out, directly in front of the post. So far, 3 from 4. What a sensational start to the second half. Stevenson steadies himself. This is a vital kick. He's got the distance. And he's kicked it. So Wigan go further ahead. They lead by 8 points to 2. And the crowd here at Central Park are in rapture. Feels the quick restart by Manly Warringah. Well, they've got the job ahead of them now, Graham Eadie.
They have, Dave. They're going to have to strike back very quickly, otherwise Wigan will just hang on to this.
Nicky Kiss runs from dummy half. Sean Wayne, Andy Gregory turning the defence around again. Shearer fields it on the 22. Runs to Gregory and takes the tackle, a three-man tackle by Wigan. And they finally put him to ground. Well, I think from the reaction of Ronnie Gibbs, I think the news is, as I mentioned it, I think he's been sent from the field.
Yeah, the referee was very adamant that he left the field before play started again.
Gately. So Manly playing a man short. Darryl Williams is also down in back play injured. Des Hasler running from dummy half, trying to open them up. Close to the ruck, but Hanley and also Brian Case affect the two-man tackle. Ronson comes into dummy half. That's Vaughton. Stepping run from the Manly captain. Goodway came in with a tackle over the top. Gately. Phil Daly. Oh, gee, there's some solid defence going in there.
They've got their tails up now, Wigan, and Manly's going to be hard to get back into this game.
Penalty to Manly Warringah. Cliff Lyons is calling for attention for the injured player. O'Connor with the ball placed 34 metres out. Listen to the whistling and the cheering of the Wigan crowd. O'Connor 1 from 2 so far. His second attempt was a shocker. Let's see what he can do. He's missed it. They will come back to the quarter line. The score remains 8 points to 2 in favour of Wigan. So Lydon with the restart from the quarter line. Breezy ball for Ronson. He leaves it for his fullback Shearer. Taken by Gregory and Hanley. Finally Henderson Gill wrestles into the ground. He's just inside this touchline on the commentary side of Central Park. That's Ronson. Taken by Case and also by Nicky Kiss. And they drive him back in defence. Manly with their backs to the wall. Wigan with the 6-point break. They led by 4-2 at half-time. Hasler, Lyons, and more importantly, Graham, the fact Manly are playing with just 12 men.
Well, it's happened before where, a player has been sent off and inspires the other 12 players. Hopefully Manly will be inspired by Ronnie Gibbs being sent off and kick on from here.
Andy Gregory, that's Sean Wayne. Long pass out. Stevenson comes to the centre of the ground. Taken in the tackle. Case. Sean Wayne. Again, some solid tackling. Well, Maxi Krilic, the loss of Ron Gibbs, that's going to be a crucial blow and a cruel blow to Manly Warringah.
Certainly will, David. The Wigan side have really got their tails up at the moment, and we're going to have to really close up into the defence and stop these Wigan guys keeping the ball alive. There's certainly some very good players out there in this Wigan side, and this fella's one of them.
Edwards hoists it high. Pressure on the Manly defence. Picked up by Hasler, and that's relieved the pressure. Centre of the field on the 22. Manly in possession of the ball. Dale Shearer. Cochrane. Williams. He missed both matches for the New Zealand side when they played against Wigan and against Great Britain at Central Park. He was looking forward to this clash in front of this big crowd today, I can tell you. Although he wouldn't be too impressed with that scoreline at the moment. Lyons. Driving play downfield. Hampson comes back. They rate him with the safest pair of hands in Britain. Oh, great tackle by O'Connor. Henderson Gill. Gregory Gill. Cunningham affected the tackle. Edwards, switch of play. That's Richard Russell, product of the Wigan St Patrick local junior club here. Ellery Hanley. There's the strength of Hanley.
Oh, good play. Beautiful pass to Stevenson. He's got back inside. Russell in support. Inside the 22, but Cliff Lyons is there. But this crowd is to its feet. Wigan on the attack. 6 more, final tackle it is, in fact.
Gregory, long pass.
Oh, and Hanson's hands let him down. For the first time in the match, I won't be critical of Hanson. It wasn't an easy pass to pull down. But had he taken it, it could have been shut the gate, Graham Eadie.
It could have been, David. They're spreading Manly now with that one man short. They're finding gaps out wide, and they're throwing the ball around. And I really thought that it should have been a penalty to Manly. That I thought Henderson Gill was offside then.
So Manly Warringah trailed by 8 points to 2. 14 minutes of play gone in the second half. They're playing a man short. Ron Gibbs has been sent from the field, and there's that aggressive defence that Max Krilich was talking about, and Wigan will come up with the ball. So now Manly's 12 men will be tested. Pace. Gregory. Stepping run by the little halfback, and Manly are in desperate straits. Henderson Gill pushed out of the way by Nicky Kiss. Edwards, one of the real playmakers. Sean Wayne. Henderson Gill. Gill nearly through that line of defence. Edwards, Lydon, cut out pass. Hampson this time picked it up beautifully. Flick pass. Stevenson. Manly a shot to ribbons out wide. Henderson Gill straight upfield, but the Manly defence holds firm, but they're under pressure. 8 metres out from the line. Ellery Hanley, this is where he's dangerous. Stevenson. Now they've got the attack going again through Gregory. Manly are under pressure on the final tackle. What will the tactics be? Will Edwards put it high? He unloads it. Lydon held the pass up. Gately comes up with it for Manly. But Max, how long can Manly keep this up in defence with just 12 men?
Well, put it this way, they're going to have to keep it up all the way. They hung out well there. The Wigan side kept the ball flowing, but their defence was good enough for the task. Now they're going to have to counter-attack and get this ball flowing around like the Wigan side are.
Solid tackle by Potter, but he's earned the eye of the referee, John Holsworth. And a time for Manly to regroup and settle themselves down, because I can tell you for 16 minutes of the second half, they have been under intense pressure. Young Paul Shaw's coming on at the moment, and Phil Daly going off. It appears as though he may have popped a shoulder. So a reshuffle in the Manly pack. I say that may force Paul Vaughton to move up into the front row, Graham.
Yes, I know Paul doesn't like playing up there, but where he's running now, it looks like that's where he's playing.
We also have Jeremy Ticehurst out on the right wing. He's replaced David Ronson. Here's Gately. Oh, great defence again by Wigan. Paul Shaw, just a little player that can inspire some play for Manly. Here's O'Connor. Great step by O'Connor. Through the dummy. Intercept. Kept alive. Picked up by Gately. That's Shaw. Ducked under the tackle and finally goes to ground. Cochrane. Cliff Lyons. Now Shaw. Swarming defence by Wigan. Ball's gone astray and they come up with it. Wigan in possession through Andy Gregory. That's Henderson Gill. Pulled out of the tackle of Gately. Gately comes at him again. Impedes the progress, but Gill stepping and weaving. Nicky Kiss, a dummy half, goes on his own, and there's a gap. Michael O'Connor stopped the progress with Ticehurst. Andy Gregory, Edwards, quick hands, Goodway, Ellery Hanley, kept the pass alive, that's Goodway.
Look for the support on the outside of Stevenson. That's him at dummy half. Beautiful play for Hanley. And Borton and Hasler's defence is there. Final tackle. Edwards to scurry from dummy half as well. Now he unloads it for Gregory. Attempted drop goal, but it's wide of the mark. 8-2 the scoreline. It still remains here at Central Park. Well, £4 entry. Maxie, I think the fans have got their money's worth.
They certainly have, David. If this was on all the time, this is like interstate football, the old state of origin. No quarter asked or given, and the boys are really getting stuck into it.
The defence of this side, you spoke about it earlier, it's the Teppers flare. It's right on. Wayne comes in, and it's an all-inner here at Central Park. Ringside action of 37,000 people. I knew Manly came here knowing they were going. Brokenshire takes play up. Another substitution in this Manly side. Knees dropped in by Nicky Kiss. Now this is something that Wigan don't have to do at the moment, Graham. It's silly play.
It is silly. You know, they had Manly down in their quarter, and all they had to do was keep them there, and the pressure was on all the time. Now they're giving away silly penalties and letting Manly, well, back up into their quarter now.
Well, in fact, they are inside the 22. That's where we'll see the tap restart. Brokenshire charging upfield. Hasler. Centre of the field. Shaw. Fatty Vorton unloaded the pass for Cliff Lyons. Vorton again handling for the second time in the movement. Dale Shearer up from that fullback position, trying to spark something into this Manly attack. They've got to do something pretty soon, I can tell you. We're past the halfway mark of the second half. Vorton met with that strong defence, and again Wigan come up with possession of the ball. Lydon's the man that gets to his feet. Hanley. And the other thing is, Graham, Bobby Fulton has already been forced to make replacements. Graham Lowe hasn't had to do that yet, and he's got 3 or 4 standing by.
Yes, it doesn't mean that they've got many to come with 15 minutes to go. No one fresh to come on and spark something.
And the fact they're playing with 12 men. The job right ahead of the Sydney Premiers. Edwards knocks the ball on, toes it through. The referee has allowed play to go on. Henderson Gill. Well, how long do you play advantage? There was no advantage there whatsoever to Manly Warringah, and play will finally come back to the scrum.
No, I think as soon as Sean Edwards kicked that ball, it should have been pulled up. But you learn to live with that over here, David.
So the scrum to go down, centre of the field, just short of the halfway line at Manly's end of the ground. 18 minutes of play remaining. Manly trail by 6 points. 4-2 at half-time it was. And surprisingly, with all the action we've seen no tries. Lyons, Michael O'Connor, Dale Shearer, over halfway, but that desperate defence. They nearly took him into the grandstand. And Andy Goodway inspiring his players at the moment to keep the effort up. They can sense victory. And so can this 37,000 crowd at Central Park. They've been so used to acclaiming victory in the last 18 months or so. Not hard to understand, Graham, why they got the tag, the entertainers, the player that went off the field. I think Williams is the man that went, and Ronson has moved into the centres. So Darryl Williams, who was struggling in that first half, was the man replaced by Jeremy Ticehurst. Play midway, the half, the 22 in Manly's end of the ground. And it really has been all Wigan in the second half as far as territory is concerned. Edwards on the short side. Beautiful pass for Goodway. Picked up by Edwards. In turn for Gregory. That's Stevenson, a dummy half. Edwards. Wayne.
Stevenson again showing great hands. Here's the final tackle. Stevenson hoists it high. Here's some pressure. And Paul Shaw was the man that came up to answer the call for Manly Warringah. Well, Max, right through the premiership, I doubt very much if Manly have been subjected to the pressure like this for, say, 70 minutes of a match.
I would say that's exactly right, David. This is extreme pressure by the Wigan side. They're fundamentally very, very good players, and they've got some very talented players as well, and they are putting Manly under good pressure. Manly sort of got to get down the other end of the paddock. They're under too much pressure in their own 25 for too long.
And here's Lyons trying to work it out. Long pass. Vorton nearly passed it blind to O'Connor. Here's a beautiful step from O'Connor. Support on the inside, but a poor pass. And Potter's the man that comes up. Well, they're the sort of errors that bring pressure back on your own side.
Dave, especially going into not even out of your own half. And but there are signs that Manly have still got something left, that they can do something.
Wayne, Edwards, that's Gregory. Hanley through the gap. Desperate defence by Shaw again. Here's Stevenson. Inside the 22. Full marks to Manly. They've weathered this storm. It's been a barrage from Wigan. Now Gregory. Back inside for Goodway. Ellery Hanley. Stevenson. Little Paul Shaw has done a mountain of work in defence. One of the real stars of the future, I can assure you. There's Hasler. He's done a mountain of work as well. Cliff Lyons kept the ball alive with broken Shire. Now Shaw probably took the wrong option by coming back infield. Stepped under Gregory. Got the pass away. Shearer goes beyond the 22. Oh, pass. Shearer. Basketball fashion for Lyons. O'Connor. But this Wigan defence held firm. They know they have 12 minutes to protect this 8-2 lead. Time ticking away for the Sea Eagles. Just 10 days after their triumph at the Sydney Cricket Ground. But here's Dale Shearer. The kick ahead. Desi Hasler. But back comes Goodway. Well, I wonder whether Shearer knew he had the support of Des Hasler.
He didn't seem to look at all, did he? He just he put the kick in.
Well, he made the break. Hasler was backing up on the inside. He was calling for it, but 37,000 fans denied Shearer from hearing it.
No, he never looked.
And good covering from Andy Goodway. Gee, what an inspired performance by the Wigan second row with a former Manly player.
Hasn't he? He's had a big game tonight.
He was voted the man of the match in the recent War of the Roses between Yorkshire and Lancashire, and he's repeated that form here tonight and led from up front in this Wigan side. So Ticehurst to his feet and Cochrane, and that's Hasler to Vorton. Vorton tried to keep the ball alive. Desperate play by the Manly captain. Cochrane ran wide, and I just detect a few little holes opening wide in this Wigan side. Can the Manly side exploit it? Cliff Lyons, Brokenshire, Shaw did well, Hasler also, but good solid defence. Final tackle. What will the Manly tactics be? Cochrane with the kick ahead, and the ball goes dead in goal. Play will come back to the quarter line. Well, Max, you must be proud the way that Manly have stuck to it with 12 men. They've come back against all the odds.
They certainly have, David. They're in there right to the final whistle. This side won't give up. And unfortunately, there I thought Dale Shearer could have given the ball to Desi Hasler, and it would have been a try into the post, but he took the option, and that's the way rugby league goes. But there's still a few minutes, 10 minutes to go, and it's anyone's game still.
Henderson Gill plays the ball in centre field. Brian Case. He's back on the field after his little stint in the sin bin for that attack to the face of Dale Shearer. Nicky Kiss burrows his way towards halfway, and we're into the final 10 minutes. In fact, 9 minutes remaining in this match. The match to decide the club champion of the world. Ellery Hanley leading this Wigan side.
in the absence tonight of Graham West, who was left out. And he's a pretty handy man to have sitting on the sideline as well, the former New Zealand captain.
Yes, he is. We played against him over in the Isle of Man in the Charity Shield, and he led the side very well.
So the scrum packing down, 12 metres inside Manly's end of the ground. It's the Sea Eagles feed through shore. Cliff Lyons. That's the desperate stuff from Manly. The kick and chase. Look at Michael O'Connor. Can he win the race to the ball? Well, what about the knock-on?
Well, I just sort of called a knock-on, and he usually does call those knock-ons, but I don't know what... well, there's a penalty against Manly now.
It takes a bit of pressure off.
It does.
Well, I would have thought that was propelled towards the opponent's goal line, Max Krilich. I think in Sydney that may have been ruled a knock-on.
Certainly was a knock-on, David, but...
Holsworth says this is where the tap must be. It's a set move from Manly. Cochrane switching the play. Vaughton did well to take it, but he's been driven over the touchline. Well, they've taken him, in fact, over the fence.
I'll tell you what.
Brokenshire's in there to try and... I don't think Paul Vaughton's pulled up too flash from that either.
He hasn't. I think that was a bit of a nasty incident then that Nicky Kiss, the number 9 for Wigan, pushed him right into that.
Well, Andy Goodway was the man that came across to see if his old Manly teammate was okay. And I suppose you can afford to do that if you're leading by 8 points to 2 with about 4 minutes to go. But take nothing away from Andy Goodway at Central Park tonight. He's been an outstanding player. So, a chance again for Manly Warringah. Shaw says we're going to put it into touch serve. And a chance to settle down and regroup for the tap restart. Red Roost, of course, one of our great sponsors, putting up $1,000 for the man of the match tonight. Brokenshire will be announcing that at full time. Might get the thinking cap on Graham as we think about a man that would be a worthy recipient of that award. Here's Dale Shearer. Official attendance, 36,895. Peppers flying again. Referee Holsworth is going to pack a scrum down. Well, I wasn't a bad judge. I said 37,000. It's not bad for a non-local, Graham.
You've been here a fair bit, but Porter.
So, the replacement. Well, that makes it pretty handy coming on with no number. That's Brian Case, the man going off. And the player coming on is only a youngster, 17 years of age. His name is Ian Lucas. There's Dale Shearer. Lucas only 17 years of age. He's a fine lump of a lad too. A big moment for him here. Cunningham hit very heavily by Lucas. Hasler. Lyons. And that could be the ball game.
Could be, yep.
Final 3 minutes. Wigan lead by 8-2. And listen to this crowd. This is what you predicted, Graham, if they're in the lead with a few minutes to go. Well, I know our fans back in Sydney would be praying for a Manly Warringah victory, but what a great thing this will be for rugby league in general. But it's not all over. The Sydney Premiers, can they come up with 2 minutes to go? Cochrane. It's been a guts effort by Manly Warringah. Vaughton wrapped up.
Here we go.
2 minutes remaining. Manly full of spirit, full of running. Shaw. Hasler. Shearer. Dale Shearer. But the cover defence is there.
He could have got that away to Michael O'Connor. It was a try then.
Now Manly move again. Cliff Lyons. Hasler. Cochrane. Mel Cochrane. Here's a go. Cunningham. But again, that desperate Wigan defence holds strong. Long pass. Lyons. The numbers out wide. Here's a go. But again, that Wigan defence.
That was a great tackle by Steve Hampson then.
Watch the Lions for the grubber kick. Nothing is going right for Manly Warringah.
No, I think that's it now, David. I think they just run this ball out for the 5 tackles and...
Last minute of play. 39,895 fans will erupt here at Central Park if the scoreline stays as it is in about 35 seconds from now. The 40 minutes are up by my watch. We've had a couple of stoppages. But Stevenson will use the clock as the chant of "Here we go, here we go" strikes up at Central Park. What a marvellous 12 months they've had. Henderson Gill. They will want to use the 6 tackles, Max Krilic, this Wigan team.
Sorry, David, I can't hear you down here. The noise is deafening.
It is deafening. Play to the halfway line, or about 5 metres short of it. Andy Goodway. Nicky Kiss. Slowly to his feet on the halfway line. The Riversiders sense victory in this inaugural World Club Championship match. Well, a long way to come. 12,000 miles for the Manly side. 41 minutes. 41 minutes. 6 more to go, says the referee. That's it. It's all over. Wigan are the World Club Champions with a thoroughly deserved victory by 8 points to 2. It was 4-2 at half-time. No tries, surprisingly, Graham, in a match chock full of action.
It was, David. It was a very good...
Graham Lowe.
He's very happy, and why wouldn't he be? You know, his side has just beaten Manly, and they've really done it quite professionally. They really tackled Manly out of it.
They hail their heroes, Central Park. Graham Lowe, I think I may have detected a tear. This is a very important victory for him. Phil Daly, Mark Brokenshire. We'll take a break from Central Park. 86-87, and a great moment for the Wigan team and their coach, Graham Lowe. Our sponsor, Red Rooster, has put up an award of $1,000 to the man of the match, and it goes to Andy Goodway. Andy, fabulous performance by the Wigan side. I think you had a personal point to prove out there tonight.
Not personally, you know, it's all amounts to being a team game, and it was a good team performance. It's an excellent professional club. We just wanted to put a professional game on for the spectators.
A lot of people wondered just how seriously both these sides would take this match. I think that was quite evident in the opening minutes.
Oh, well, we were deadly serious, so no way we wanted to lose to any Australian side. We're taking enough flack as it is. We were out to prove that Wigan are the best side in the world.
You won a lot of trophies last year. Have you come up against a tougher opponent than Manly?
Yeah, there are some English clubs that's just tougher than Manly here. Why not? Why do down the British clubs all the time? You know.
What'll happen with $1,000?
It'll go into my little daughter's little piggy bank.
I mean, you've got to give credit to Manly. They came across here, they're a good renowned side themselves, but I think Wigan proved tonight that they can take on anybody. I don't think it was just a fluke. I think the opening 20 minutes was absolutely fierce competition. It was a good combat between two good professional sides, a very clean and tough, hard game.
The standards of the game was very high, as everybody will see. Like I said, Manly came over to give us an hard game. We've got every bit of respect for Manly. They've got internationals in their side, but they've also got to respect the Wigan. And like, people will look up now and take notice of English Rugby League.
Tremendous commitment of both sides out there tonight. There was a lot of stake.
There was, you know, for two sides with such tremendous attacking ability, it was also a credit to both sides' defence, because there was nothing in it all the way through the game.
Do you think the loss of Ron Gibbs robbed the match of anything?
Well, I hope so, but you know, that's the way it goes. If anything, it would probably inspire their players even more. It's just one of those things that happened, and well, I don't know. I'm only really looking at our players, Dave.
Oh, when you consider that we played, you know, probably one of the best attacking rugby league sides in the world for 50 minutes with 12 men, I'll tell you what, we did pretty well, and I was proud of the blokes. I'll give you the tip. But you know, we busted them all over the paddock. We busted them in close, on the fringe and out wide, but we just couldn't get the ball over the line. I mean, we were the only team to get the ball over the line with Dale's try, and or non-try, should I say. And from all reports and talking to the players after the game, it was a dead set try. So, you know, it probably we could have got away with the game if we would have had the 12 men for the full period. But I mean, that's not to be, and it's bygones be bygones, so to speak. And you know, we've come up with a loss.
We expected a very hard game. We certainly got it. You know, I'd have to say that getting Ronnie Gibbs sent off didn't help us, but there were no excuses. We just did our best.
Is it a bitter pill to swallow after the triumph just 10 days ago?
No, not really. I mean, we still consider ourselves the best team in Australia, and unfortunately on the night it was billed as a World Club Championship. I mean, you know, if they want to accept that, well, it's good as gold, but we still know how good a side we are, and the thing about the game was that we were very proud of ourselves, and I was proud of the players that we still managed to keep them scoreless, even though we only had 12 men.
Wigan, after that 8-2 victory tonight, can claim the inaugural World Club Championship. Graham Moody, they did it pretty well, though, too.
They did, David. They stuck to their guns right throughout the game and came out on top. Unfortunately, Manly had Ron Gibbs sent off, which, you know, we had a look at the monitor and it didn't look that bad to us. I don't even think it warranted 5 minutes in the sin bin, but, you know, he was sent off and really didn't do much good for Manly's hopes that way. But, you know, we can't take anything away from Manly. Manly only arrived here 2 days ago, and, you know, after, you know, celebrating for, you know, probably a week over there after winning the grand final, they came out and they really went all the way as well as Wigan did. Well, thanks for joining us on the commentary team. All the best for the rest of the year with Halifax. Thanks, David.
Great media. And we also had Max Krilic joining us on the sideline. We thank Max. And just repeating the full-time score from Central Park, 8 points to 2 in favour of Wigan. We hope that you enjoyed our coverage exclusive here on the 10 Network. More sports action coming up.